The void beckons.
What's up, guys? I'm Tasteless, with me is Artosis, and we're back here
Indeed.
for another day of the GSL.
Not just any another day, though, Tasteless. The another day. The finals of the first preseason week.
We've already had 3 fantastic days of learning how these new races operate here in Legacy of the Void. It's been really exciting. We're going to have some very interesting ZVPs today, and I'm not entirely sure who's going to win. I feel like Zerg has been pretty solid as of late.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true, but if there are 2 Protosses that can probably kill some Zergs, it's going to be Zest and Hero. So
that is definitely true.
I am crossing my fingers that one of these Protosses really knows how to kill Zerg, and he wins against his Zerg, and the other Zerg really knows how to play against Protoss and beats his Protoss, and then the Protoss wins in the final. So I actually have something to study.
We
to
need
beat
the builds
Zerg
right now.
I need the builds.
I think just like you guys at home, for us as well, we're basically just taking notes on how these guys are playing and trying to figure out exactly how this game works right now. The Koreans are quite strong, but we really haven't been able to see a ton of them playing right now. A lot of the top players not streaming, keeping their builds and strats private so they can win in tournaments like this one we have here today.
Yeah, of course. You know, all the tournaments are starting up right now. We just had the SSL qualifiers yesterday. Those are all finished with. That league is ready to go right now. This is the first part of GSL Code S qualifiers. The winner tonight, the overall winner, gets right into Code S. So they'll be like the 9th player qualified for that round of 32 tournament.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens here today. Tell your friends to tune in and join us. A lot of people don't know that this is going on. This is GSL during the holiday season. We don't normally have this many games or this many days of broadcasts back-to-back. But I know a lot of you guys are off from school or off from work. So come in, tell your friends to join us as we learn this game. If you're watching here, you're going to have a big head start on the ladder.
Indeed you are. And we do have some offline events down here, so some Legacy of the Void limited edition things are going to happen, and also there's going to be pizza, so that's always fun.
Yeah, lots of free pizza down here today. Obviously, entry to our studio is free. I know we say that a lot, but I guess a lot of people just miss that part because I get tweeted at almost every day before we have any studio matches that, how do I get in? How do I get tickets? How do I book seats? You just come in, come early. It's first come, first serve.
That's right.
And you can watch the pinnacle of esports, StarCraft in Korea. Watch it live with the very best players in the world.
Yeah, and really, this is 4 champions right here. Byul is like,
if we add together all of the second-place titles, I guess we can add that into a champion as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a champion of getting second place.
Yeah.
So
he's kind of a champion, a little bit. Not one day of the GSL, perhaps. But anyways, this is going to be a great match. First, we do have a team kill coming up. It's going to be KT Life against KT Zest. And that's going to be just awesome, man. I just am really stoked to see how these guys are going to play.
Right off the bat, I would say I think Life might be slightly favored here. Zerg definitely has that strong ground presence early, but like we've been talking about a lot, Protoss can definitely get some solid timing attacks early on and really punish Zerg and prevent Zerg from actually getting into the late game.
Yeah, and Life, he's been a little bit vocal about not liking the lack of larva that you get from your injects. I don't know if that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. He's a bit of a troll, this guy, but, will his style hold up as well as normal? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I mean, I do think that right now it feels like at least Zerg is a bit favored versus Protoss. But Zest is a teammate of Life, and he's so solid. He's such a full, well-rounded Protoss that definitely someone that since this guy came out basically as one of the top players, I've been copying basically every game he plays. So
he's got his own way of playing, which is I'd say that's more so true for Protosses than for the other races. You really see some very different play styles coming out here. we really don't know what to expect. We don't know the meta too well yet. But as time passes, we're going to have a very good sense of how this matchup actually operates. And of course, we got a ton of new maps that we're on here as well. A lot of maps that have gold bases that can be exploited.
That's true.
If you're a Zerg, you're going to want one of these maps with a gold base out there, because taking a gold early on for Zerg, a hell of a lot easier than doing it for Terran or for Protoss.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something that's going to be kind of cool to watch. Prime Terraces, for both of these players, both of these matches, rather, was chosen by the Zerg rather early on. Kind of interesting. We have like this really cool a piece of paper that AfreecaTV has given us.
Did you just call it a pretty cool piece of paper that AfreecaTV
well, it's a piece of paper. I'm like trying to say what it is. It's like...
It is a sheet with a...
Yeah, you see this? You see this on the screen?
Yeah.
They gave this to us in paper form with who chose what map in what order and stuff.
Yes.
And we've never really gotten this before, so this is awesome.
We've already stepped it up here at AfreecaTV.
Yeah. And
it is going to be, by the way, best of fives to start this off.
That's right, yeah. And the finals is going to be a best of five as well. So
this is a little...
much better matches tonight, I think.
A speed tournament, if you want to say. It's like a GSL on fast forward.
GSL
here.
Mini.
GSL
Some might
Mini,
even call it a preseason.
We could even call it a fun-size GSL, you know, like it's a candy bar.
A bite-size or a fun-size?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's certainly not a diet GSL, I know that much.
No.
Or a GSL Zero, for that matter.
No, certainly not.
So, yeah, we got these 5 maps these guys are going to be duking it out on. Really a treat to be already casting players who are this good, this deep in a tournament. And Legacy of the Void really kicking off here in Korea. We got a lot of people down here in the studio. People who are tourists out here, just curious about esports. People who are diehard,
really
old school and new school StarCraft fans. And of course, everybody is interested in seeing what the meta of Legacy of the Void is going to look like.
Yeah, it's such a fun game. They really did such a fantastic job. Blizzard did with Legacy of the Void, and I think everyone has pretty much agreed on that. The best year of StarCraft is upon us.
It is. And I think we got many more good years to come here, as we have totally new builds, totally new units, totally new maps, with the same great players as we've always had before.
GSL. This is the
I thought I timed out that close pretty well, but here we are.
Well, they're not talking either, so
there we go. Yeah, all right. I was like, man, I could have riffed for a little bit longer back there.
This is the first real production day of the season.
Yeah,
so
first day
we'll
back
give this
here,
one to him.
back in the studio. And we're still with our new observer here. By the way, in the bottom left, in the red, he is Zest.
It's cold in Seoul. He's got his jacket on.
It's very cold in Seoul right now. In the upper right, in the blue, our Zerg player, a champion. He is Life.
Has high natural body temperature, doesn't need his jacket on right now despite being cold in Seoul.
Yeah, it is absolutely freezing in Korea right now.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like the last couple weeks have just like turned into...
This is the kind of weather, if you don't have gloves, you are a fool.
You know that awesome Frozen song, "The cold didn't bother me
anyway." Yeah.
Yeah, well,
she
if Elsa was in Seoul right now,
she'd be like,
she'd
it's
get
too goddamn
frostbite.
cold out here.
Her fingers would have to be removed or something. Like she's trying to be like the ice princess. No, it's too cold.
She'd be like, let it snow, let it snow. I'd be like, get inside, get inside.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie.
I can tell you didn't get the lyrics right or anything.
I didn't, man.
What, you haven't seen Frozen like 9 times?
No, I don't have a job like you.
Well, you got to get on that.
I still got to go see Star Wars as well. I haven't seen that.
Oh, geez. Neither Star Wars nor Frozen.
Yeah.
Are you even a human? Like, what is going on here?
Well, are we going to be put? You see, look behind us right here. There's a camera on us right now.
Oh, wow. They want to get our bald spots.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's actually a camera behind us.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to get a nice shot. They should. We can cast off the screen over there as easy as our screen, so this way they can't get the back of our heads.
When the Korean fans see this on their feed, they're going to think,
like, is that how they cast? Do they just like...
Like, you guys know you cast blindfolded, and they actually just uses the game sounds.
Indeed.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for coming down, man.
Oh, that's awesome. The correct tournament. This is, I got a tweet from this guy. He showed up on the first day, but they had a League of Legends tournament here, and he watched that instead.
Oh, God.
Because we were in the other studio upstairs.
Yeah, because we were here, but we weren't in the, oh, man. Well, I'm glad he's down here now. That sucks. But it's okay now. Uh-oh, that camera's coming back up here.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited
What is the
about
shot they're going to try to get over
I don't know. I like it, though. They've never done this before. AfreecaTV is already hitting this out of the park, this GSL.
Well, if you look at us when we cast most of the major tournaments and they get a big shot wide of the audience, you can see us in our casting desk at the back of our head. You do get a wicked shot of the bald spots on the back of our head.
Yes,
so.
indeed.
We're trying to stop
on
that
the back
here
of
now.
Tasteless head. His is so big it makes me look like I have one.
Artosis, the bald spot on Artosis' head is so big you can see it from space.
Oh, man. Well,
what's going on in this game, man?
Well, in this game, we had life go with something that's a kind of greedy opening, but not really, like double hatchery before spawning pool, and that's like a little bit common right now in Legacy of the Void, really? Because like Protoss doesn't really do anything super early. Like Protoss is generally just going to get a very fast Nexus, maybe a Nexus first, maybe after a Gateway. So they can't really punish. Like, Cannon Rush is not really a thing right now. It doesn't really work out that well with the way the economy works and how many drones you start with, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, life just, getting those 3 bases quickly, getting some Zergling speed for map control, whereas Zest, he's taking a 3rd base as quickly as he can here and has a Stalker to try to deny the scouting overlords a little bit more efficiently.
So this is like the minimal possible defense while still trying to hold a 3rd base. And if he gets this up and running, it's going to pay off in dividends.
Yeah, and Life is making a little group of Speedlings right now. And it's Life, so he'll probably like kill a probe and like get something. Oh, who it is?
Mike Moorman, the CEO of AfreecaTV.
Right.
Thanks for coming down here, guys.
Indeed.
This is look, one thing I want to get to right away is I get wrecked a lot by Zerg ground, whether I'm Protoss or Terran, which are the 2 races I've been playing primarily.
Yeah.
I really have a hard time holding
against Protoss.
If I'm Protoss and I'm against, for instance, a Zerg here, excuse me.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if I made myself clear there.
Yeah, I was a bit confused. But no, I mean, the game is new, and it's pretty tough. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on with these new units. The Ravager is very powerful. Zerg has the Lurker obviously can be pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
But look at how Zest is playing this. I actually really like this, and I will be copying this tomorrow for sure.
Double Stargate here, followed up with a Robo.
Yeah, but he went 3 gates before this because we saw Deer try a double Stargate opening on this map.
Yeah.
But I believe he got it off of 1 gateway, and just like a Ling Roach attack came and killed him. But this is cool that he's kind of like doing it a little bit more safely, because one of the hardest things, in my opinion, right now in Protoss vs. Zerg is dealing with Mutalisk tech switches.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like, if they switch into Mutas and stay on Mutas, and you try to stay on Phoenixes to counter that, the Viper can destroy you. Like, Parasitic Bomb is insane against Phoenixes. So.
Absolutely, and also, one problem that I think is not highlighted enough is that they can make a set of Mutas and then hide the rest of them, or they can just do the Muta timing delayed. So
yes, exactly. Like, just save
it's
up a
not
bunch
easy
of
for
money.
Protoss to spot.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult to scout, and like, it's a bit scary. So to open with a lot of Phoenixes deters Zergs from going Mutas because it's kind of like a death wish. If they already have Phoenixes, like, they'll just kill you. So I like what Zest is going for here. And he's just like kind of pulling them too. He hasn't even moved around the map yet, has he?
Well, I think, it's the same rule that you can have, like we were saying earlier with the Mutas, right? You can just bank these back in your base, and it looks like it's going to be spotted now. You see the Overseer coming in here. No point even trying to hide those Phoenixes because he's going to see the 2 Stargates anyways.
Yeah, he's going to
And he'll probably send these out now. Yeah, and he's got about 6 of them. The moment that you're spotted, there's no point in actually keeping them tucked away any longer.
And, right now, I really like this build because he has 6. He doesn't need to get any more than that. That is plenty. And he's going to go over, put on a lot of pressure. In the meantime, a lot of gateways on the way, that Warp Prism. And we have a depth attack speed upgrade on the way. So,
yeah.
And basically, you're going to make light units generally against this, things like Hydras, which the Adepts will do very well against. So, it kind of everything covering each other right now for Zest.
Zest now coming in here and actually doing a great job. Nice taking out a Ravager there. And he can keep on rotating through these bases. Now, it's going to be a lot tougher for Zerg to leave. Zerg can defend this, taking as little damage as any good Zerg player could. But if it comes to leaving, the Phoenixes are going to go in here and take out a lot of workers. And actually, Zest doing a lot more damage than I even expected him to be able to do there. Very nicely done.
That was some brutal damage. He didn't lose any Phoenixes. He picked off several drones.
I'm kind of surprised he actually engaged those Hydras back there.
Yeah.
I think most players would have backed off. I mean, They're pretty fast on create, but they deal damage pretty quickly. If you make a bad judgment call, you lose your Phoenixes quite quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was like really well done. What? What are we?
He's getting more robos, man.
Oh,
He's playing really weird.
I like it.
Yeah, this is cool.
Totally. Like, you know, against the ground armies of Zerg, I think everyone likes double robo that is tried it out significantly because, like, a lot of disruptors can be really, really powerful against Zerg, especially against something like lurkers. If you see Hydras, probably you'll see lurkers. So double robo disruptor just like devastates Zerg ground. And to deal with that, a lot of Zergs try to go into like Ultraling, against which you're probably going to need a lot of mortals. So it kind of covers a couple of the tech pads ever since he already has
still got all the structures you need to switch into that. And, you know, from here, I like Zest taking a 4th base. It looks like he can do this fairly safely. And it's one of these games where Protoss is basically staying even with Zerg on expansions. And one thing to note, though, on this map is that the remaining expansions for the players to take, whether you're Zerg or Protoss, are more distant. It's a little bit harder to secure those.
Yeah.
A timing attack would definitely bruise you pretty badly.
Certainly the case. By the way, we see a couple Colossus being made. I haven't really seen this in Legacy of the Void yet, like using Colossus against Zerg. But in this situation, it actually looks pretty good, right? Like, just having those extra Colossus, dealing that extra splash damage from such a range against Roach Hydra has always been strong.
Sure.
And
I mean, even if it's not a lot of them with you, if it's just 1 or 2, I mean, the Zerg does have to reconfigure his unit composition to deal with that.
And to kill the Colossus, you have to commit into a pretty big arc and try to hit the Colossus, against
true.
which the couple disruptors are going to do very well. So this is like a really neat thing Zest is doing. I don't know exactly how good it will look because a lot of people are not even really using Colossus for Zerg that much right now. But all right, let's see it, man.
Yeah, Zest really showing us the way that he sees this matchup operating at the best possible level, and it's going to be double Colossus coming out here, and he's actually pairing that up with 2 more being produced right now.
Yeah.
So he is definitely telling us that this is a good idea. Nice job shooting down that Observer. And kind of an odd movement pattern here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is really good for Protoss at all, if he doesn't have the rest of his army over here.
Oh, right now we actually have these Lurkers coming down. Now, this is kind of cool against Lurkers as well because Lurkers have such sick range, so the Colossus kind of equal that out. And here we go, actually. We have a Disruptor Wall coming out, killing a lot of Hydras off.
And just like in Brood War, Zealots are pretty horrible against Lurkers unless they get a surround there. So we definitely saw that army got thinned out there pretty easily. However, the number of Stalkers and Colossi that are remaining here, I think Protoss can still engage as long as he picks his fights wisely.
Yeah, a little bit of mismicro there on the Disruptor. You got to be really careful.
Here we go!
Oh, and a huge hit after pulling it back from the brink of death. But we do have Vipers on the way, and Vipers are as good as ever against Colossus.
Yeah, this is definitely the right play to tech into the Vipers, to try to pull in Colossi and isolate them. And pick your fights accordingly. Right now, supply at 160 to 179.
Well, I mean, that's quite a bit of supply for Zerg, but don't forget there's like, this is mostly a ground army. He's really going to need these Vipers to pay off, I think, to be able to take Zest out here. Like, he's barely even mining from his 5th base, which is going to actually get picked off here.
Yeah, and taking out that base is pretty huge, especially since Zerg can't counter-punish by actually hitting the 4th base here for Protoss. And I don't even like the way the life's engaging here. We see the units coming in like in a line almost, like it's a parade or something, so the damage is not being distributed properly.
Well, right now we actually do have the Phoenixes coming in, looking up some Hydras as well. A lot of Archons here in the front. The Zealots charging in with a lot of damage there.
I don't know, man. I think that Protoss is in great shape this game.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't need to go in any further. He might try to, though, but right now the Viper's now pulling in the remaining Colossus and doing a lot of damage to him over here.
Zest looking really, really nice right now, but Light is starting to will it down, and with that, those Lurkers behind, the Lurkers shredding everything.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Lurkers are pretty insane against armored units, so definitely dealt a lot of damage there. Cleaned up that Colossus down.
It was a bit strange in that attack. We know he has warp prisons. We didn't warp in anything else here. And he's still trying to commit to this attack. We still don't see... Okay, there we go. Now there's the reinforcements. I was wondering what his plan was, or if he had forgotten the warp prisons were there maybe for a second. Chaos of the game.
Well, right now we actually have Ultras on the way as well.
There it is, GG. Okay.
Oh, question mark, GG.
Good game, was it?
The question mark was like, you're making Colossus against me? I really haven't seen basically anyone go Colossus against Zerg, but in that situation, it seemed all right.
Let's think about it for a second. If there's a lot of lurkers out, even if you have a good number of Colossus, the Zerg has to invest a good amount of income into the lurkers, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe it works a little bit like a good window. If you see the lurkers coming, you go into that, but then you don't have to commit to it. Then again, I believe he was making 2 more Colossus in his army anyways, so I don't know. I mean, we're still learning. We're going to have to see. We're going to have a lot more PBZs to cast here today to get a better idea of how these guys view the matchup.
Yeah, the Colossus is still definitely a good unit. It's just not the backbone of Protoss anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that just the size of the nerf that came to that unit, which all Protoss relied upon for years, kind of turned everyone off from even trying it. But that doesn't mean it's a bad unit. Like, it still can be a very good unit in certain situations.
It might just have a new place in the game. I mean, if you looked at, like, previous StarCraft games before Legacy of the Void, if you saw a Protoss army in a PvZ and there were no Colossus there, you would immediately know that something's wrong, right? Maybe it's not necessarily the case here, but it still has some functionality depending on the unit comp from Zerg.
And I kind of liked it there. Like, he had a couple disruptors. You don't necessarily need a ton of disruptors. And the Colossus, like, that's pretty useful still. Like, at poking things, the lurkers are far away. You don't want to have to, always be sending disruptor balls at the lurkers to clear them. It was cool.
Map number 2 is going to be on Orbital Shipyard. Zest with a very convincing win there against Life. That didn't seem like the Life that you and I are used to casting. He seemed like some of his attacks were a little bit off. It wasn't that Life that, would harassing it in there, that would do the good surrounds. We even saw when the 5th base was being attacked, this single file line of Zerg units coming in to try to defend it. Not able to optimize damage, especially with Archons and Colossus there. I mean, he really did not get good engagements at all.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, the Phoenix harassment did some damage to him that I wasn't quite expecting.
Yeah.
He wasn't either. And
I wasn't expecting it when I saw him come in. He got a lot more drones and Hydras than I thought.
There were some strange parts in there about Life's defense.
All right, guys, we're going into game number 2. Tell your friends to join us here with Life against Zest. Now playing in Legacy of the Void.
Cold night in the city. I got my hair done right.
All right, over here, special thanks to our sponsors, and over here in the upper right, in the red, losing that last game, but still one of the best players of all StarCraft 2 history, he is Life. And in the bottom left, in the blue, our Protoss player with a very impressive game number 1, he is Zest.
Oh my God, we bought our coffees from the same coffee store as Zest.
You have so much in common.
Wow, a lot of people here today.
Yeah, very packed first day here in the studio.
They must have heard that the GSL was on and pizza was being delivered.
Yeah, man.
Those are 2 great reasons
to come
down here.
Yeah, these are 2 wonderful things put together. In this game here, we see that Protoss is going to be going for a fast expand, which is totally understandable considering the way this map looks. Yeah, easy to take a base tucked away in the back.
Welcome, guys. I have that same hoodie.
Wow, so you have Zest.
In fact, I think I wore that hoodie today.
Did you?
Yeah, well, you looked at me as if I had it on now. No, I have my blazer on. But
hey, quick question here.
Yeah.
We had some audio problems earlier. Which one of these knobs controls the volume in my headset?
one, I think it's that
It's
one.
this one over here?
Yeah.
No, it is. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Got it.
There you go.
It looks like somebody else had casted some of their game earlier here today because we.
Truth be told, I
was a little
run
bit
up
off.
here before I meet with
And
you,
you
and I
just
just
move all
mess
the
with your
dials
knobs.
around. So.
Yeah. I
All
put
right.
like a whoopee cushion in your chair and stuff, and like it's fun times.
Otos is the mischief. Spawning pool's almost done. Zerg is taking 3 bases.
Yep, and that's kind of what you would expect to see here. Zerg is always going to be taking 3 bases against Protoss rather quickly. There's not like a lot that Protoss can really do against that. They got to get their economy flowing as well. There are various all-ins that people have been experimenting with so far in Legacy of the Void.
I am curious to see if Protoss takes the 3rd base here, because we've seen some very good Protosses that just know how to squeeze that out as quickly as possible. But we've also seen Zergs, especially people like Byul, who can come in there and just run over the other player if they get greedy at all. And it looks like we are going to have that quick expand right here. So let's see how Life responds to this.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to do anything. I think you have to have a build in mind planned to punish this, because the Mothership Core, the changes to it, were really good for taking a very fast third base. Like, you just throw up a couple pylons, they finish really quickly. Before there was a bigger window for people to hit that, like before the Nexus finishes was the window where, you know, you don't have the Nexus cannon. But here the pylons finish so quickly. Generally, you can get that third up without too much problem.
As long as you got the pylons in the right spot and they cover everything.
Yeah, totally. And looks like he's doing completely fine in regards to that. And in fact, Life not even making that many links, just like a handful right now. Have some map presence, poke around, do some scouting. But for the most part, Life is building his economy as well.
Yeah, he's going to be droning up quite hard here. And now we're going to be seeing the tech very soon here from the Protoss, what direction this game is going to be taken. Now, we've already seen some interesting trends in just the tournament we've casted here for Legacy of the Void on Afreeca. We did see, for instance, Terrans really liking a lot of these double Reaper builds against Zerg. We've also seen the popularity of Stargates, rather, not just against Zerg, but also against Terran in some cases.
Yeah.
So, kind of interesting to see that. I'm wondering how much of a role, you know, when you get these new units in the game, it's not always just about the new units. Sometimes it's about how the old units now function back in with the new meta.
Absolutely. And we do see that double Stargate play here once again from Zest. And once again, it's just like I'm pretty sure I didn't like rewatch the Deer games from the other night, but pretty sure he's just doing it a little bit later. You know, maybe with slightly more intel, saying, okay, you're not going mass roach ling on me, so I should be able to squeeze out a bunch of Phoenixes and teching right up alongside that at the exact same time. So
notice how all the tech here is hugging the middle, so that if Zerg doesn't spot that exact location, it's completely open in the air as to what Protoss is doing. Yeah, some people might not play that way because they're okay with some techs and not others being spotted, but I'd say in this case, because this tech is so specific, and you can definitely narrow down what Protoss's options are when you see them doing this, it seems like he's okay with it right there, not necessarily over any of the mineral locations where it could be accidentally spotted in a harass, but actually over here by the ramp, which is just a less likely player for Zerg, less likely location for Zerg to scout.
But this time he's not going to pool. He goes ahead, sends those Phoenixes out immediately, takes out that Overlord, and will continue to run around the map to try some harassment. In the meantime, add in a bunch of gateways, and let's see what he goes ahead and gets out of his Twilight Council. Will he get the Adept attack speed once again?
He might. He very well may. Also, Protoss getting a few more gases up here. Zerg still powering at 63 probes to 67 drones.
All right. Well, that's really solid. Both these guys full economies here on their 3 bases, and obviously Zerg is going to be needing to take another one. It's normally this one that he's breaking the rocks down to. See that drone even getting ready right now. Phoenix is looking for said drone.
For said drone, yes. Managing to keep that Overlord in one piece. He's going to be rotating now. I think we're going to see Life be hyper vigilant about not taking too much abuse from these Phoenixes last game. I think most of us would say we were a bit surprised by how much damage he actually managed to do with the Phoenixes, even engaging clumps of Hydras at a time and coming out unscathed.
Yeah, he got like quite a handful of drones, like maybe 5 or 6, and got like maybe 4 or 5 Hydras. It was pretty insane for, you know, considering Life wasn't like completely unready for it. So doesn't really get that much this time, but you know what? A big part of this is forcing Zerg to stay home, forcing spores, a couple drone kills here and there, a couple Overlord kills here and there, but I think a lot of it is setting up so that he can do things like a double Robo and not worry about Mutas.
Also, we see the Warp Prism over here. Well, we don't. It's in the upper left, but I think last time we saw him warping some Adepts, but not much happened with that.
I was wondering what happened with that.
I was actually going to ask you that because I don't think we got a shot of it in the last game, but let's keep our eyes peeled on the mini-map. We do have a new observer here, by the way, at GSL, so bear with us here. It takes a while to learn and master observing, but if he does do those Adept Warpins, maybe we'll see that play a larger role here. I'm not sure if that Warp Prism was picked off last time or what happened. We didn't get a shot of it.
Maybe that's what happened because I thought for sure he was going to do a massive Adept Warp in maybe in the main base last game, and then we just didn't see it again.
And I don't think we ever saw the Adepts.
And he had like 8 gates too. So.
Yeah, he had 8 gates, and I think he had 3 Adepts inside the Warp Prism.
Right,
so
he did.
I must have been shot down because we didn't see it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure. Has a bad rally on that Robo, and Immortal actually walked all the way across the map, so that kind of...
that's not good.
Yeah, that actually hurts quite a bit. Immortals are, like, obviously really good units.
This is kind of a funny angle to attack, but it also kind of works. Protoss can't really get its units over here to defend, and he can damage the gateways. And, you know, I don't normally see stuff like this in any form of StarCraft 2, but this is sort of... This is like StarCraft. Funky geometry. Wow. Okay, gets the Colossus. So yeah, in that odd positioning, you can just shave off the gates. Now the Colossi coming up there, that changes it. And we're now going to have the Zealots warped in over here. Or dropped in over here.
That's right, and 7 Adepts being warped in right now. This could be a lot of damage. Only light units here to deal with them, and they do have that attack speed upgrade, so just destroying Lings and drones left and right.
And you know, you see with the mobility of being able to warp in everywhere, that's really strong as it is, but then to use the Adepts to shade across the map into the next expansion, it's crazy. However, this is a huge attack over here. It's not entirely clear if Zest is going to have to actually hang on to his base up here at the front.